Hey boys and girls, it's Wednesday night and it's time for another Bible story. Now last time we were together, we learned about Moses in the burning bush and how God told him to go back to Egypt and tell Pharaoh to let his people go. So that's what we're going to learn about tonight, is what happened when Moses returned to Egypt. The first thing, though, he said to God is, I need help. I can't speak very well, and they might not believe me. So God said, okay, I'm going to let you take Aaron, your brother, with you. And so they went to Pharaoh, and they said, let our people go. We want to go worship God in the desert. And he said, no, I'm not going to let you take your people. They work for me. They make bricks for me. They build cities for me. I need them. And he said, in fact, I'm angry that you even asked. And so now they've got to find their own straw to make the bricks. Well, this was going to be impossible. So the people got upset and said, you're making our lives worse rather than better. And so Moses was upset too. But you know what? He didn't get discouraged. And he continued to obey God. So he and Aaron went to Pharaoh again. And they said, let our people go. But he said no, and he hardened his heart. He said, no, I'm not going to let the people go. So the first plague of Egypt was about to happen. Now, what is a plague? A plague it's an event that causes sudden damage, like a tornado, but say hundreds of tornadoes everywhere, or it causes pain or suffering, like a disease. And so right now, we've got this virus going around, the coronavirus, all around the world. And a lot of people are getting sick. And so we're staying home from school, and we're staying home from jobs, and we're washing our hands a lot, and we're trying to stay healthy. And you know, that can be a little bit frightening. But there's a verse that helps me feel better. And it's in John chapter 14, verse 27. And it says, don't let your hearts be troubled. Don't be afraid. And you know what? That's Jesus talking to us in that verse. And so that makes me feel a lot better. So you might want to read that tonight before you go to bed and say your prayers, and just remember that Jesus is always with us and he tells us not to be afraid. So now let's get back to the Bible story, the plagues of Egypt. So God tells Moses to strike the water of the Nile River where the Egyptians get their water with his staff. And when he does that, the water turns to blood. This is the water that they bathe in, that they wash their clothes in, that they drink, and now it has turned to blood. But Pharaoh's heart was hardened, and he would not let the people go. Then we have a plague of frogs. God sent frogs all over the land of Egypt. They were even in the Egyptians' beds, but Pharaoh would not let the people go. And then God said, strike your staff on the dirt, and all the grains of sand will turn to gnats. Well, there were gnats everywhere, all over the people, the animals, but Pharaoh would not let the people go. And then God sent a plague of flies. The flies were everywhere. Same thing. Pharaoh would not let the people go. And then he made all the livestock in the field get sick, and they died. But Pharaoh hardened his heart and would not let the people go. Then the people got these boils all over them. A boil is like just a giant, yucky, awful sore. And they were all over the people. But you know what? Pharaoh hardened his heart and he would not let the people go. And then God sent a storm with lightning and thunder and hail rain down from the heavens. Hail is like just giant balls of hard ice, and it destroyed many of the crops. But Pharaoh hardened his heart and would not let the people go. So then God sent a plague of locusts. There were hundreds and thousands of locusts, giant grasshoppers that ate the plants that were left. But Pharaoh hardened his heart and would not let the people go. And then God sent a plague of darkness all over the land for 3 days, except it was light where the Hebrews lived. But Pharaoh hardened his heart and would not let the people go. So that's 9 of the 10 plagues. So we're going to take a break, and we're going to come back and find out about the 10th plague of Egypt. See you soon.